Happy Lovecraft Sunday to every single one of you guys. We are diving back into the episode 6, season 1 of Lovecraft Country, which, hoo-wee, man. Again, I've been mentioning it every single week. This is such an unpredictable and wild show that I am absolutely loving every single minute of it. And I'm sure many of you guys are as well. It's a completely really weird and gross episode, especially this one. But the best part about this, guys, is we have a great place to come and discuss this episode on a daily basis. Well, daily basis, weekly basis, down below in the comment section. So make sure to leave a comment and let me know your guys' thoughts down below on episode 6 of Lovecraft Country. Of course, this one is called Meet Me in Daegu. And as well, guys, make sure to hit that like and subscribe button if you guys love Lovecraft Country just as much as I do, or in general, you just want a place to come talk about Lovecraft Country. I want to keep talking with you guys down below again as there, so hit that like and subscribe button so you don't miss out on spoiler recap and reviews every single week on a weekly basis till the show's over. Then I don't know what I'm going to do. So starting with this is definitely a very different type of episode. I've said this, I don't know what each week is going to take me on, and you know, there are many cliffhangers that we still don't know from even back in episode 4. We're still waiting to see where his aunt's going. We're still trying to see and go about where all these other elements are going, and especially last week where it ended at, where he ended the phone call with, of course, Jiha, which of course, am I pronouncing that? I'm so completely wrong, but Jiha, you know, he gets off the phone with her, completely opens this up, and this episode opens up in a very particular way where I'm like, okay, where are we going with this? Is this going to be the whole entire episode? Because it is the background history between this character, the love interest that was Atticus's, and of course Atticus's background as well within that whole mythology, and it becomes such an interesting concept in the way that it's able to really further out all these different dimensions, and I'm absolutely loving what, again, they were able to do this. So going through my notes, and I'm sure many of you guys also have notes in here as well. So the production design, number one, excellent throughout this whole entire episode. I really love the production design in this episode, and I actually thought it was one of the most beautiful and touching things throughout this. I love how they brought to life South Korea, and again, all this different type of tones within the 1940s and 50s. There's so many different and great elements in here of how they were able to bring it to life. But again, you know, it starts fall 1949. You know, we see this cool little speed dating. It's a sweet moment between the whole Judy Garland thing. And, you know, the whole thing of her getting up and dancing and singing, I'm like, hell, you know, when I see a musical, sometimes I like to do that. And, you know, I'm not a big musical fan, but when one speaks to my heart, I like to do that. But really going around here, I think the big things in here is, especially when she gets to those final moments, she takes the guy home, and we're like, where is this going? You know, she didn't seem like this type of girl. She didn't want to take any of these nice guys home, and well, yeah, we definitely see what happens. The eye comes about in her throat, or in her eyes, not in her throat, that was last week's, but in her eyes, we see this weird little goo thing comes out. This tail comes out behind her. I thought it was a tentacle at first, and then she said it was a tail, and then I started looking into this nine-tailed fox whole thing, and that's a whole different thing. If you want to look into more mythology on this, you guys definitely should. There's so much damn things about this. But of course, the tail, I literally screamed, ew, when it started wrapping around him and going inside of him. I just like, what the fuck is going on here? And yeah, big what the fuck. Blows up. Completely disgusting. Blood everywhere. Kills the guy. And we get a lot of mythology behind this character and everything going about in this nature. And again, hooked me. This is what Lovecraft Country is about. It's really good at intertwining this background history, but also having this horror tone that's settling within its themes. And I love how they are able to truly handle that inside this show. And I think it's one of the best things about this whole entire show, to be completely honest with all of you. This conversation that comes between her and her mother is very unique, because we really do learn a lot inside this. And you know, exposition can be exposition, but I think for the sake of this, it was very intriguing to find out what this demon is inside of her, why it's there, and of course the spirits that she must collect and why, how many. You know, she's at 99, she only needs, well, 98 at this point, she only needs 2 more. And of course we find out more about the father relationship between her. This is interesting because now Jia becomes one of the most interesting characters, in my opinion, throughout this whole entire show. And I really want more of a background history between some of the other characters in here now, because now we know a lot more about Atticus and her. Letty's still one of the characters that I still want to know more about. We know some things, but I think a big background character whole thing about her, and even Christina Braithwaite, would actually be really interesting for the show. I don't know if we'll get that. Again, this show is so unpredictably wild. It's very interesting. They still have a lot of different things to hit, but I love how they're layering back, and really, especially this character is going to come into major play by the end of the season. But of course, we see the whole father thing and how her father was abusive to her and really raped her, and it's terrible to hear that. And again, those are the horrific themes, because they have horror themes with like monsters and magic and all that stuff, but they also have the real life horrors of our world. And I love, again, how they are bringing this all together in such an entertaining manner, but also in a serious tone that really affects in today's world. Really interesting concepts in there, and of course we also see the intimacy between all of that, but of course this adds layers again, and I put this in my notes, it adds layers to last week's episode and in general the whole entire show of seeing all of this. Now it comes about, she seduces this soldier, brings him in, kills him too, and next week they think there's a communist spy, one of the soldiers is disappearing, kills two of the people, kills her best friend, and of course in that moment she wants to kill Atticus, but of course Atticus there, we see him in the hospital. She's planning her revenge around him. But in that whole entire thing, I love how they are able to really dive into that and that relationship that starts forming between them. You can really start to believe that. And Jonathan Majors, goddamn, that smile of his is just so perfect. And really, they're really cute together. I love this relationship. Even though there's a little underlying lie between her, we still know there's a lot more between Atticus's background that we don't know everything about, and we're starting to just know the surface of that. And I'm really curious to know if this is like only a mini series or if they are planning more seasons of this show, because goddamn, I want more seasons. Now, kind of going about this, one of the things I actually really liked about this episode is, again, the racist tones that they are actually talking about, the racist themes of this. And that really comes about when Atticus catches the ball and they have this great conversation between one another and why they are fighting for this war, why they are there, and how they would feel if they stayed here or if they were to go back to America. Again, really interesting concepts nonetheless in all that right. But then it comes about to this sweet moment, and probably one of my favorite moments in the whole entire episode, most likely my favorite moment, which was when, she comes onto the base, Atticus is there, he sets the movie up, and it's just such a sweet and serenading moment to have this movie night with G. And the super sweet element of that, Jonathan Majors' smile, having the rose, it was just so touching. We find all this stuff, and I really did love that shot in front of the movie as well when they were about to kiss. It was just so damn good, and I love how that goes. Of course, she brings him back, all this thing, they start kissing, and she goes, no, I don't want to kill you, chases him off, he runs away, she goes and meets him, and they have this great, again, sweet moment between one another, and then we see this relationship start to fluster between them. Now, at this point in time, we're at least 45 minutes into the episode. We only got 20 minutes left. Where is this going to go? We know stuff's about to happen in here, and yeah, stuff's about to happen. They do actually end up sleeping together with no monster. She's seemingly controlling it, but of course they head back. It's like, winter now? They're heading into it. They're getting down. I mean, Atticus is getting down, guys. He is getting down. And yeah, the tails come out. And it really, again, gross way. I mean, whoever had the CGI, the production design, all sorts of stuff like that, disgusting, gross. I mean, we thought last week's episode was gross, the way that they touched body horror, but god dang, the tentacles, the tails, all that sort of stuff, disgusting. Totally throws back to like a lot of Asian horror stuff that we've seen before. But again, I like how they tie that into this show so damn well. And again, the different horror elements that they do touch upon in this show is just so brilliant. Of course, this scares the shit out of Atticus, wraps around him, and it gives her visions, memories. It's not killing him, but it's literally looking into the future, and she starts yelling, "You're going to die if you go back. You're going to die if you go back." And we see some future scenes, we see other scenes from his past, and that opens up a lot of intriguing things for how this episode ends, and again, where this is going to take us next. Guys, this is the 6th episode. We have 4 episodes left of Lovecraft Country. I have no idea where this show is going, and I absolutely fucking love this show. I love how this is going about. It's so weird, it's so crazy, but it's right up my alley. And I know a lot of people have kind of fallen off this. Some people are still trying to get back on board, and some people are absolutely loving this show. But again, it's the weirdness of the show, the unpredictability of it, that I adore, and I love this episode. And each episode for me is honestly getting better and better. And, not everything's explained, but I love how they are touching on these horror elements, these hidden little mysteries inside our world. And again, going through a through line of a great thematic purpose in here as well. Misha Green is absolutely just a phenomenal showrunner on here, and I love what she was able to do in here. It's unpredictable. It's all coming together, and finding out, again, just the future of him and seeing how this whole episode ends with that whole thing of them sitting in front of that hut really opens up a lot of wonders, again, to where this episode's going. So, guys, I need to hear down below what your guys' thoughts are. Where are you guys thinking this show's going to go? Are you guys excited to see where it goes? Are you not? Have you kind of fallen off? Are you still trying to get back on board? What is your favorite moment of this episode? What is your favorite episode so far, and where do you think this episode's going to go? Understand this, guys. I didn't see the preview, so I don't know where this show is truly going. I don't know what's going to happen next week. I do know we still got to figure out where his aunt's going. We obviously still got to find out a lot of stuff between Atticus, Letty, and now this other girl G, who we, got a little introduction to, got a little bit of thoughts to, and now we have a full dedicated episode to, which I love this episode. I love the risk they took with it. It's so interesting, and I can't wait to hear your guys' thoughts. So thank you guys again so much for clicking on this. Hit that like and subscribe button on your way out. Thank you for joining me on this great discussion. All my thoughts kind of get jumbled. I have to use my notes to the best of my ability. This is such a weird show to talk about, and I'm sure many of you guys are feeling the exact same way. So thank you guys again, and of course, until next time, stay classy.